Hey, how are you doing? Hold on, I'm just getting a couple things that I thought were situated and they're not. Okay. Hi, I hope you're having a good day. This is week 11 of quarantine. Is it 11 weeks? I can't keep track anymore. I had a message from a friend and we were chatting and she was like, hey, you know what might be kind of helpful right now is if instead of just talking about how to save money and how to track expenses, if you touched a little bit on how to add income to the top of our budget. And I was like, you're right, that's a great idea. And it's one of my favorite things to talk about is all the different ways that we can control bringing income into our lives. That don't involve getting a part-time job and don't involve direct sales or multi-level marketing or things like that. So let's dig in to some of the ways. I've got 21 of them for you. I'm going to put in the comments the 21 ways that I'm going to go through. Sorry, I'm looking for the video. I was looking to see if I could leave a comment. Here we go. I'm going to put a link to the resource where I list all of these ways, 21 ways. So it's brittanyross.com/21 ways. I'm going to pop that in the comments so you can go there and download the list, or you can just grab some pencil and paper and write down any ideas that really sound good to you, because they're not all going to work for you, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. All right. Sorry, it's been a long week and I don't know if my brain's working today. Okay. The number one way that you could start adding income to your family right now, to your house right now, is have a yard sale. Some of these are really common, simple things, but we kind of overlook that, trying to find this big silver bullet that's going to solve all of our problems. So you've been in quarantine for a while. I'm sure you've noticed all the stuff that you have around your house, and you've probably gotten really familiar with what you use and don't use, what you want and don't want. Now, you might live in an area where having a yard sale physically in person isn't feasible. That's okay. Find some of the higher dollar things, or maybe even group things together. So you don't sell a single shirt. You're just like, here are 10 women's tops, size medium. Here's the variety of brands. You could have a virtual yard sale. I actually saw a friend doing this last week. She was going through and selling a lot of her daughter's toys. And she would like put groups of penguins together and be like, here's a group of plush penguins, $10, who wants them? And then lo and behold, 15 minutes later, sold. So you could do this on your Facebook page. You could do this, you could create a little group for friends and family, and maybe you're all selling or swapping things. Or maybe you live in a rural area and there's a lot of space and you can have a yard sale safely. But this is the quickest way. Go find the stuff you already spent money on and sell it to people. The next way is to offer childcare services. I'm not saying that you need to open a daycare, because then you're going to get into licensing issues and things like that. But I know in the state of Ohio, I'm pretty sure you can offer to babysit someone's kids and they can just pay you cash. And I mean, I'm sure that my accountant would be like, no, Brittany, you can't tell people to do that. Don't take legal or accounting advice from me. But if you're looking for a way that you can add a little bit of cash just to supplement, we're not talking about starting a business in childcare. Talk to your coworkers, talk to your friends, family members, and maybe you can offer an hourly service, especially if you're living in a state where daycares are shut down right now and people are looking for safe childcare. So you need to decide what that is. But under normal circumstances, offering childcare services could be a quick way to add, $100 or more to your budget. Clean houses. These aren't all fun, but we're not talking about fun ways to add money. And for some of you, cleaning is fun. I love to organize, and my friends are always like, what is wrong with you? For some people, cleaning floors and seeing those vacuum lines, like that's their jam. So if that's you and you are very good at cleaning and you don't mind doing it, offer to clean houses. It's a quick way to make some money. And we actually did hire a housekeeper in the last couple of years. Being debt-free really helped free that out, free that money in the budget. That's the best money I spend. I hate cleaning floors. I hate it. So I gladly pay her. And she actually hasn't been here in, months because of quarantine. So my house is, it's gross right now. Are you guys cleaning right now? Or are you just like, okay. Repair services. What do you know how to fix? Do you know how to fix lawnmowers? Do you know how to fix computers? What do you know how to fix? Because guess what? A lot of us don't know how to fix everything or most things. So we have to hire someone. Like, do you know how to fix things in a way that's not going to require you to go get a license and start a business? So you could offer your services on Craigslist, on Facebook. But what do you know how to fix that other people would be like, I will pay you for that? Because at the end of the day, people will pay you for the things they value. So you got to think about, where do you add value? Again, depending on when you're watching this and where we are in quarantine, thrift stores, yard sales, lots of places you can go to find used items that you can then turn around and sell as used on Facebook, on eBay. This is how our business started. So my husband started our business in 2002 buying used items at auctions. And then he would go to yard sales and thrift stores as well. And that grew into finding things that we sold on eBay. Then it turned into Amazon. Then it turned into new items on Amazon. Then it turned into getting accounts and helping brands on Amazon. So what might start out is, we just want to make a little bit of extra money this summer, could turn into a full-fledged business. And a decade later, you could still be doing something similar. But you can find things. Books are a good idea. Like, that's a good place to start because they're easy to look up. They have that ISBN number. So you can just Google it. There's apps that'll help you on all the different selling platforms. You can just see what they're selling for. Textbooks, reference books, board games. Those are all very popular things that you can sell online as used. And again, clothing, if you know brands and you understand you could go on Poshmark or ThreadUp, and I'm sure there's others. But there are a lot of places where you could sell used name brand clothing, or at least brands that have a following. Fiverr. So if you have a digital skill, excuse me while I take a drink of coffee. If you have a digital skill, so Fiverr is a great place where I've used them for design work, logo work. I've had spreadsheets designed there. I've had, I wanted to say PayPal. Oh my gosh, what is it? PowerPoint, like where you do PowerPoint slides. So presentations. So if you are someone who is really skilled at creating digital products, and by product, I mean you can create digital artwork, you can create spreadsheets, you can create PDFs. Those are things that people pay for on Fiverr, and it's fiverr.com. On Fiverr, you traditionally have a low offer that's around $5, but then you have a premium offer, which is where you actually get clients and make your money. So that's a great place. If you have a digital skill, you can sell it. On sites like Upwork, and there's other sites as well, but we always used Upwork, you can become a virtual assistant. So maybe you're skilled in things that are a little bit more advanced than just creating a PDF. Maybe you are really skilled at copywriting, or research, or what. I'm just kind of drawing a blank right now, but these are where you're going to go to become somebody's virtual assistant. This could be organizing someone's schedule, setting appointments for them, getting interviews for their podcast. You don't know who's going to hire you, but that is where we go to find virtual assistants to help with our Amazon business. And I've gone there as well just for other projects. Rideshare driver. You can drive for Uber or Lyft. I don't want to do it because that sounds like a lot of talking to strangers in my car. And that sounds like a nightmare to me. But for others, and maybe for you, that's an option that maybe you've been thinking, I don't know. But if it could add $100, $200, what would that look like in your budget? What would that do for your goals if you temporarily brought in more money? And I love this story about, it was a jewelry maker in San Francisco. And he ended up making $250,000 that year selling his jewelry as an Uber driver. Now, you're not allowed to sell products as an Uber driver. So what he would do is he would hang a piece of jewelry, like he made really fine jewelry. So he would hang like a bracelet on his mirror. And then the person in the back would say, hey, what's that bracelet? And he would say, oh, I make jewelry. And then they'd get into a conversation, and then he could give his card out. So he wasn't doing anything against policy. He was just thinking creatively. He was waiting for that perfect client to get in his car and say, what's that bracelet? So I really love when people get creative, where they use this one thing that was paying the bills to launch something else. But that's not going to happen to you if you're not an Uber driver, right? Like if you're not putting yourself out there. Personal shopper. So we know there's like Uber Eats and there's DoorDash and there's TaskRabbit. But couldn't you be a personal shopper for just an individual in your town? Like, couldn't you actually reach out? I'm sure that there are people in our town. I mean, there are plenty of times where I'm like, I would probably pay someone to go to the grocery store for me right now. So you could become somebody's personal shopper who maybe isn't app savvy. Maybe they're not tech savvy. Maybe they're an older person and they really just need that help. So you could put some feelers out that way, or sign up on one of the more traditional apps. Do you meal prep? If you meal prep for yourself, I'm telling you right now that you already know people who will pay you to just double the recipe, triple the recipe. And that's exactly how there's a business in our town. I come from a town where we've got about 25, 30,000 people. So this is not a huge town. And we have meal prep services because there were people who meal prepped for themselves, and then their friends, their stylists were like, what would you charge me to just do double, to just do triple? I just need the meals that you're making for yourself. She ended up turning it into a full-fledged business. So if you are already doing something like meal prepping, you've got friends that'll probably pay you for it. I'm just saying, meal prep. They're always hungry. The family, they're always hungry. All right. What about becoming someone's personal assistant? So again, you could go on Upwork and become a virtual assistant, but what about finding a job locally where you're doing more than just shopping for them? Maybe you are setting their appointments. Maybe you are, I don't know, doing things around the house for them, but you're their personal assistant. This would be a way to make a little bit of money on the side. You could be a dog walker or a dog sitter. We live in a pretty rural country area, and a lot of people are like, I ain't paying someone to watch my dog. But I know that a lot of people pay someone to watch their dog, and that's cool. So you could be the person who watches dogs or walks them. And I'm not saying, you get 6 of them on your hip, you're going to need a little bit of training, right? But maybe you've got people in your family, coworkers. If you don't offer it as a service, a lot of people aren't going to ask you to do it. So maybe that's something that would interest you. Lawn care and landscaping. These are things that a lot of people don't want to do, or they don't have time to do. So if this is a skill you have and you have the equipment, there's nothing stopping you from picking up a few yards, right? Like, you could charge someone $80, $100 to take care of their yard every single week. I don't know. It's not a job for me. Sorry, I got distracted by a squirrel. But yeah, totally. Lawn care is, you don't need the big giant, You don't need everything. You don't need a whole team of people. You don't need to get 50 yards. You don't need to think about it as a giant business. Is there someone in your neighborhood who would pay you to mow their grass? Are there people in your area who would pay you to go to the garden center and plant some shrubs for them and clean up or weed or mulch? Okay, I think you get it. Painting homes and offices. If you have a steady hand, there are people who will pay you to paint their walls, to paint their houses, to paint their offices, to paint whatever it is that needs painted. So if you are someone who can paint and you kind of enjoy it, or at least you could do it temporarily, that's a quick way to add some money. Add some money to your budget. Crafting. I know a bunch of you craft. I know that for a fact. And I also know that you share pictures of the things you make on Facebook. And you get a bunch of love, like all the little hearts and all the likes and all the comments, and all your people are like, I love it, it's so cool. And the one thing I'm not seeing you do is put a price on it and say, for sale, who wants it? So what do you make? What do you make that you could sell to people? And again, you could sell, we're probably not gonna have a lot of craft shows right now, but could you sell consignment in maybe a store that sells, like we have a little place that sells a lot of local art. Gemini's Eclectic Emporium, and they do consignment. Do you have something in your town that would take consignment? Or could you put it on Facebook Marketplace, on Instagram, anywhere, on your Facebook feed? Start on your Facebook feed. If you make something and your friends are like, oh my God, that's adorable, sell it, offer it. People don't often ask. They don't want to feel like they're bothering you. So offer it for sale if you have things that you make. Could be a house sitter. There are plenty of people. I know we've gone on vacation many times where we've hired a house sitter to come and just be at the house to make sure that the garage door goes up and down. So maybe that could be you. What do you know? What knowledge do you have in your head that you could teach? Because you could go on sites. Let me pull up a couple. Udemy, Udemy, and Skillshare are two fantastic sites where you can go on and create a small course. Basically, you just go on a video chat like this and you record it and you teach something, and people will pay you for that. So what is some knowledge that's in your head that you could teach? And again, right now you're probably going to be doing that online. I mean, you could do this right on Facebook and you could have people sign up. Say it's $5. I'm going to teach you this thing I know. Laundry. I hate laundry. Like, I really hate laundry. I don't hate washing it or drying it. Like, I hate putting it away. But if this is a service that you could offer a couple people, maybe you could do their laundry, fold it, get it all ready for them, and drop it off. So if you know you're going to be looking for busy people, but yeah, or people who typically go to laundromats, just because they're in a situation where maybe they don't have access to a washer and dryer, but they would pay someone for it. So that's just an idea of a service you could offer. You could be a tutor or a coach to children or adults. And you can do that online via Zoom, via FaceTime. And I know with all of us homeschooling, we're going to need some tutors. And I have a feeling in the fall, we're going to need some more tutors. So I think that's going to be pretty lucrative. So if there's something that you could tutor in, I think there might be some demand coming up after summer. You can teach English online to people who are wanting to learn English. There's a couple sites where you teach children. One is Magic Ears, and the other is VIP Kids. So these are sites where you could set up an account and actually teach English to children where English is going to be their second language. I think that's kind of cool. And then the last thing you can do is what became our primary business is to sell new things online. And that would be selling things on, I've got a whole list Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Amazon, Poshmark, ThreadUp, Etsy, eBay, craft shows, flea market. Like, you can sell so many things that you don't make, that other people make. Maybe you could curate. Maybe you have friends who make amazing things, and you could say, I'm going to try and sell them. I'm the one that I'm really good at getting people, excited about things. So I'm going to sell them. I'm going to sell other people's things. But those are just 21 different ideas that I've come up with. I'd be really curious, like what you've done that's worked. So feel free to comment. But if you want the resource with all the different sites that I've mentioned, it's BrittanyRoss.com / here, I'll even do that. It's BrittanyRoss.com / 21 plays. Boom. There it is. But yeah, I'd be really curious. I'm encouraged by all the creative ways that I'm seeing people show up for their business, and that people they're not just like laying down and saying, this sucks and I don't know what to do. It's okay if it feels hard, and it's okay if you're like, there are days where you're like, I don't have it. I don't have the energy. I don't want to show up. I don't want to do any work. That's okay. But I'm encouraged by how many of you like keep standing back up and you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure this out. And I know a lot of you are trying to figure out the income piece. So I'll keep talking about the income piece and the expense piece because they go together, right? But if you need a little extra money to hit those goals, or if things are temporarily a little off kilter income-wise, there's 21 different ideas that you can try. Again, they're not all going to work for you, but there's got to be something in there that you could try instead of just saying, well, that's it. And you know what? If you're listening to me, you're probably not the person who just says, I'm just going to roll over. That's just not the type of person that hangs out and listens to my videos. That's not you. So I'd be curious, what have you tried? What's worked? Do you have ideas that aren't in the list? Just comment and we'll get into a conversation about those. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Bye, guys.